The cup of tea you brew could lead to serious health issues. This is especially true if you're over 60, and particularly if you drink it in a certain way. Japanese and British doctors are united in their warning. Avoid a common mistake that few people talk about, but it could cost you your health. Imagine a quiet corner of your home. The kettle is boiling, the aroma of freshly brewed tea fills the kitchen, and you add a little sugar or milk, as you always do, almost on autopilot. You settle into your favorite chair, wrap your hands around the cup, and slowly take your first sip. It seems like absolute harmony. But in that moment lies a hidden factor that can undermine your health over time, especially as you age. Recent studies have shown that one of the most common mistakes is drinking tea immediately after a meal, especially with milk, sugar, or medications. This habit can interfere with iron absorption, disrupt digestion, and even cause fluctuations in blood pressure. Surprisingly, this tea ritual is linked to a rise in complaints about fatigue, lack of energy, and even palpitations after eating. Over time, this can lead to anemia, chronic fatigue, sleep disturbances, muscle weakness, and even memory decline. This is particularly dangerous for postmenopausal women and men with heart issues. Drinking tea at the wrong time can trigger hidden inflammations and weaken the protective functions of the intestines. And all this happens silently, almost unnoticed. The good news is that giving up just one habit can restore your energy, improve digestion, and even enhance your sleep quality. In this video, you'll learn when and how to drink tea properly so that it doesn't harm you, but actually benefits your body. By making a few adjustments to your tea drinking habits, you can significantly boost your health and feel the difference by next week. Share this video with your loved ones. They'll be grateful. So, the first mistake that almost everyone makes, which does more harm than good, is drinking tea right after a meal. This is especially true after lunch or dinner when your body is actively digesting proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. At first glance, it may seem like a cup of hot tea aids digestion, but in reality, it does the opposite. It interferes with nutrient absorption, causes discomfort, and can lead to anemia and weakness. What's happening in your body right now? After you eat, your body initiates a complex process. Enzymes break down proteins, bile helps digest fats, and your intestines prepare to absorb nutrients. Tea, especially strong black or green tea, contains tannins, binding compounds that attach to iron and other trace elements, blocking their absorption. And what's the result? Even if the food is nutritious, your body may not get everything it needs. Additionally, drinking hot tea right after a meal dilutes stomach acid, reducing its effectiveness. This can lead to feelings of heaviness, burping, and over time, disrupt the balance of gut flora. Alex, 78 years old, was convinced that a cup of strong tea after a meal helped him relax and improved digestion. Every evening after dinner, he would settle into his favorite chair with a cup of tea and a newspaper. However, as he aged, he started experiencing strange symptoms: mild dizziness, constant fatigue, brittle nails, and pale skin. Doctors diagnosed him with a mild form of anemia, even though his diet was quite balanced. After speaking with the doctor, it became clear that the issue was with drinking tea after meals. Once he started having tea 1.5 to 2 hours later, his blood levels began to improve, and his condition normalized. He also mentioned that his evening tea became even more enjoyable, since it now provided pleasure rather than harm. If you love tea, don't give it up. Just change the timing. It's best to drink tea 1.5 to 2 hours after eating, when the food has been partially digested and the tannins won't interfere with the process. At this time, tea can truly be beneficial. It can relieve mild tension, improve circulation, and support metabolism. If you're looking for something right after a meal, consider warm water with lemon, a mint infusion, or simply take a few deep breaths and enjoy a leisurely walk. These rituals are far more beneficial than having tea on a full stomach. The next point may surprise many, as for thousands of people around the world, tea with milk and sugar is a cozy ritual, a childhood habit, and almost a sacred moment of tranquility. However, this combination, especially in later years, can trigger subtle yet dangerous processes, inflammation, metabolic disruption, and can even diminish the benefits of tea to zero. What dangerous processes are occurring at this moment? Tea is inherently a beverage rich in antioxidants, particularly flavonoids, which strengthen blood vessels, enhance memory, and help combat inflammation. However, when milk is added, casein proteins begin to bind with the antioxidants, blocking their effectiveness. This means you continue to drink tea, but its beneficial compounds are no longer absorbed. And if you add sugar, you increase the glycemic load, trigger inflammatory processes, and feed conditionally pathogenic bacteria in the gut. Warning: in the long run, this can lead to worsened heart function, fluid accumulation in tissues, and even joint pain, especially in people over 60. Listen closely to this story. Margaret, 75, had started her day for many years with tea, always adding milk and 2 spoons of sugar. Then her joints began to hurt, especially in the mornings, and she experienced fatigue and sluggishness. Doctors prescribed ointments and tablets, but the relief was only temporary. During a lecture on healthy eating, she learned about the role of sugar and dairy proteins in the development of hidden inflammation. She decided to try replacing her usual drink with herbal tea without any additives. Within a month, her morning aches became less frequent, and after 2 months, they completely disappeared. She returned to her morning walks and felt 10 years younger. If you can't imagine tea without additives, start small. Reduce the sugar to half a teaspoon and replace milk with a plant-based alternative, like oat or almond milk, which are neutral in pH and don't interfere with nutrient absorption. Even better, try herbal teas: chamomile, lime blossom, rosehip, or mint. They gently warm, soothe, and aid digestion. What else could be added? You could add a bit of honey, but only when the tea has cooled down, as heat can diminish its properties. This transition will not only benefit the body but also provide a new sensation of warmth and authentic flavor. This point is especially important if you are on regular medication. Take it seriously. Many people tend to wash down their pills with tea, thinking it's harmless since it's not juice or soda. However, this habit can weaken the effectiveness of the medication and sometimes even enhance side effects. Doctors caution that tea, especially black and green tea, can interact with medications, making them less effective or even toxic. Why? Tea contains tannins and caffeine, which can slow down or alter the absorption of active ingredients in medications. This is particularly concerning for blood pressure medications, sedatives, antidepressants, iron and calcium supplements, as well as aspirin and warfarin. For instance, green tea can enhance the effects of anticoagulants, increasing the risk of bleeding, while black tea can inhibit iron absorption, which is critical for individuals with anemia. Tannins can form insoluble compounds with medications, preventing them from being absorbed. This can happen quietly, without obvious symptoms, you simply won't experience the desired effects of your treatment. Here's a clear example of how this works. Michael, 81, took heart and thyroid medications every day. Each morning, as usual, he drank them down with hot tea and lemon, a routine he had followed for many years. However, over time, his test results began to worsen, and his blood pressure became unstable. The doctor increased the dosage, thinking that Roger's age was a factor. However, when he was advised to avoid drinking tea with his medication and replace it with plain warm water, his results stabilized in just 10 days. The dosage had to be reduced again, but his overall well-being improved instead. Sometimes the key isn't in the pill itself, but in what you take it with, he said with a smile. It's easy to remember. Never take medication with tea, whether black, green, or herbal. Only warm water is acceptable, and that should be consumed 30 minutes before or 1.5 hours after drinking tea. This is especially important for those who take medication daily. If you feel like having tea, you can save it for late morning or afternoon, after taking your main medications. This simple adjustment can not only enhance the effectiveness of the medicines, but also protect your liver, stomach, and nerves from unnecessary strain. You'll find that treatment becomes a support system rather than a burden. But wait, there's something even more important ahead. Tea is not the enemy. It's one of the oldest and gentlest ways to support your health, soothe your nerves, and even improve digestion. The key is to choose the right type of tea. After the age of 60, it's especially important to opt for beverages that don't overly stimulate the nervous system, irritate the mucous membranes, and help your body recover rather than fight against additional stress. What happens as we age? With age, the body's cleansing processes slow down, blood vessels become more sensitive, and the digestive system requires gentle support. Black and green teas contain caffeine, which can lead to increased heart rate, fluctuations in blood pressure, sleep disturbances, and irritation of the stomach lining. This is particularly concerning in the evening. Instead, it's better to opt for herbal teas. They are caffeine-free, have mild anti-inflammatory properties, and can enhance mood as well as support liver and gut function. For example, chamomile has a calming effect, mint promotes relaxation, rosehip is rich in vitamins, and motherwort helps regulate blood pressure. Nora, 79, often complained about anxiety in the evenings, disrupted sleep, and heaviness after meals. She used to drink 3 to 4 cups of black tea every day, believing it was a habit that energized her. After a conversation with her family doctor, she decided to replace her evening tea with chamomile and her daytime tea with a light brew of mint and lemon balm. Just a week later, her sleep became deeper. The tension in her body disappeared, and after a month, she woke up for the first time in a long time, without that foggy feeling in her head. Now her morning ritual includes rosehip tea, while her evening routine features warm chamomile and a cozy blanket. What can you drink instead of regular teas? Here are a few gentle and beneficial herbal infusions that are especially recommended for those over 60. Chamomile for sleep and digestion, mint and lemon balm for anxiety and tension, rosehip for immunity and joint health, motherwort for high blood pressure, and ginger tea for bloating and sluggish digestion. You can enjoy these drinks throughout the day, alternating between them and adding a bit of honey or lemon, just in warm, not hot beverages. However, it's best to avoid or significantly limit green tea, especially strong black tea. These simple changes can transform into not just a new ritual, but a genuine way to care for yourself with warmth and attention. Let's summarize together. We've covered some important details that often go unnoticed because tea seems like such a simple, warm, and safe drink. Yet, it's often in this simplicity that we find the root causes of chronic fatigue, inflammation, vitamin deficiencies, insomnia, or blood pressure fluctuations. This is especially true if tea is consumed right after meals, with sugar and milk, alongside medications, or at inappropriate times of the day. All of this affects how your body functions daily and how you feel from the inside out. But now you have a gentle, reliable guide. Tea can be your ally if approached mindfully. Swap strong black tea for a light herbal one. Wait an hour after eating before drinking. Avoid mixing it with medications, and cut out sugar. None of this requires you to give up your beloved ritual. On the contrary, it makes it warmer, more embodied, and beneficial. These are not restrictions, but a new approach to self-care. Mature, wise, and conscious. If it seems to you right now that you've been drinking like this your whole life and it's been fine, remember, changes come with age. Your body no longer compensates for past mistakes as easily, and even if you don't feel any immediate harm, the cumulative effect might already be preventing you from breathing fully. But just a slight adjustment to your habits, and in just a few days, you'll notice your energy returning, a lightness in your body, and clarity in your mind. Try just one simple thing. Drink tea not immediately after a meal, but an hour later, or swap your evening black tea for chamomile. Feel the difference. Pay attention to how you feel. Your body appreciates even the smallest steps. There's no need to change everything in one day. A gentle shift is enough, and the path to better well-being will start to unfold before you. Imagine yourself a month from now. You wake up easily, feel warmth in your body, clarity in your mind, and joy in your heart. Your evening tea becomes more than a drink. It's a soothing way to end the day. Your body thanks you for your attention, and you appreciate choosing a path of care instead of haste. True strength lies in drinking tea not the old way, but the right way.